up, you guys? This is Rob from Guy Plays, and today on the Daily Grind, after hours and hours of grinding out fissures, we finally have our hands on the Opticor Vandal. Thank fucking God for Netflix, right? So currently, the only way to pick up the Opticor Vandal is by completing Operation Buried Debts out in the LOLz. I'll go ahead and leave a link up there, as well as one down in the description box below that gives you more details as to how to do it. Now, when it comes down to mastery rank and any kind of restrictions, I'm not sure exactly how any of that will work because this weapon is shipped directly to you, as it should be after the hours and hours of mindless grinding. Alrighty, so I actually wanted to go ahead and start things off just a little bit differently by showing you guys the unmodded charge time of the standard Opticor. And the main reason for that is the fact that the stats have been shifted so uniquely and differently in the Opticor Vandal, which I absolutely love, a little bit of interessant added into a weapon, that I needed to show you where we started things off with. So, as you can see right here with the Opticor Vandal, as soon as it charges up all the way, it does fire automatically. But also pay attention to the amount of time that it takes to charge up this weapon. Now, as you can see right here, you can fire it early with less damage by doing a half charge. So again, you can do a half charge, it will deal less damage, but you can't do anything less than a half charge. So a quarter charge isn't going to get you anywhere, half charge is going to get you less damage, and a full charge will automatically fire. Now, upon impact with an enemy or terrain, it will do a 5-meter magnetic damage area of effect. So do keep that in mind when we take a look at the Vandal stats, because what is very different. So as you can see right here, a lot of the stats have been changed, but the one we're actually going to start things off with is the base damage and the IPS. So the IPS has been shifted a little bit. As you can see, the only green positive change that has been made is the fact that slash has been bumped up a little bit, while everything else has been dropped dramatically. So the base damage of this weapon went from 1,000 down to 400. So you can see why there's a whole bunch of other green stats that are going along, but let's take a look at where that damage went to. So right there, kicking things off, we have the charge rate. So it went from 2 down to 0.6. That is almost a quarter of its original charge rate, which is absolutely nuts. And that's what I really wanted to focus on, to kind of show you guys, like, this thing is going to fire off a lot faster than the standard Opticor. And then we're going to move from that down into fire rate. So the fire rate has also increased, so from 1 shot per second to 2 shots per second. Now, if we're doing the standard basic, you know, kind of like shots per second kind of damage, it does go from, you know, 1,000 per second to 800 per second. However, I didn't really know how to do the math to factor in the charge time with all of that, and that's why I wanted to do that little rigmarole and kind of give you the visual representation of stuff, because it's too early in the morning to be doing those kind of calculations. Anyway, let's go ahead and jump into the rest of the stats. As you can see, the critical chance has gone up from 20 to 24 points. I mean, you could have given us 1% more to get us to 25, but instead you want to trigger my OCD. And then we have the critical multiplier, which has gone from 2.5 times up to 2.6 times. We also have an increase in the magazine from 5 to 8, and this one's kind of juicy. It makes me feel really good in my soul. The reload has dropped from 2 down to 1.4, and then they did add 10% more status to this, so from 20% up to 30%. Now let's go ahead and get this equipped, and let's take a look at the way this functions. Now, as many of you guys know, the other one fired very, very slowly. This one fires, I'm gonna do a full charge right here. Do you see? That thing is so much quicker. So, I mean, if you want to fire off a half shot, you can do that as well. But really, you're almost all the way there. And it is actually pretty fucking effective. Let's look at the reload speed. Oh, yes, it feels quite freaking good. Now, again, this thing has more crit and more status, so there are definitely some things that we're going to be taking advantage of within the build in and of itself. However, up against the 165, especially if you get a nice little lucky shot, you can actually apply some nice juicy slash damage there. As you guys can probably tell, I am using Hunter's munitions on this, and it feels quite freaking good. So let's do that one more time so you guys can see the efficacy of the new Opticor Vandal. And the thing that I really like about this is the fact that the old Opticor, it was really a slow weapon. This time around, you have a lot more built-in speed. Hell, if you really wanted to go ahead and mod this thing for speed, you could go ahead and give that a shot. But as you can see right here, it's got enough status to go ahead and proc viral. You can get a magnetic proc in there, so if you want to chain this in with condition overload, it's absolutely fantastic for that because you're getting a decent amount of status, and we've got some good flow with melee 2 point whatever number they've decided to attach to the end of this now. And with some Argon Scope, you can go ahead and get some good crits, and it is just feeling sexy, really just hoping for that Hunter's Munitions to kick in and give you that slash proc. But regardless, let's go ahead and take a look at the build, because this thing is a mover and groover now, and you no longer have to slot in fire rate augments. Like, I think before on my previous Opticor build, like 2 of the slots were dedicated to improving the fire rate because it was so painful, but now we've got some freedom. So, as you can see right here, it is a standard critical build as long as it loads up. God, it's like an Anthem loading screen. I still love Anthem though. Just don't get things twisted. So it's a standard critical build as you can see right here, and then of course I've got my good old viral, which pairs up with Argon Scope and Hunter's Munition. So Argon Scope is really just driving the critical chance a little bit further, and then Hunter's Munitions is taking charge of that by kind of, you know, adding in the slash proc that'll work around any enemy armor out there. Now, we can go ahead and try a different variation of this and try this out with some corrosive, because now that it fires a little bit faster, the armor stripping might work a bit better for it. Where are you? And do be aware that I have a ribbon for this that I'm probably going to end up re-rolling, because right now it's all base damage, and now I'm like, maybe we get some critical chance up in there. Maybe we could do, like, and that's the thing that I love about this, is because of the fact that the ribbon disposition is just high enough, and please, Lord, do not get it nerfed to all hell, but they did say in a previous post that they were no longer going to be, like, nerfing things extremely dramatically, so you guys do keep that in mind. Oh my god, I'm so desperate for this that I need to actually type it in, because I know I'm gonna miss it. So there we go, let's go ahead and give this a shot with a little bit of corrosive damage and see how that compares. I don't know if I would really mess around with any other variations. I know that I just recently did the Grinlock video. Oh, I'm getting lucky with those slash procs though, so part of me is like, don't pay attention, that's not real, it's just we had 3 big old slash procs in a row. But yeah, with the Prisma Grinlock, that one actually has its IPS focused on slash. This one still has its IPS focused on puncture. That really has not changed. I believe the puncture on this is 200 plus, while the slash is only 80, so unfortunately I don't really feel like on its own it's strong enough to just sustain without the Hunter's Munitions in there. However, you know, I'm sure that you guys can edit this a lot for other enemy types, maybe putting in a little bit of gas for your corpus enemies. Now, me personally, I like the viral just a little bit better. I felt like it was a little bit more consistent with its damage. However, you guys are free to play around this with as you wish. Listen, you completed the event, you're done, you're out of the area of pain, and now you can feel free. I mean, we're talking about fissures and pain, right? So you're done with those fissures, and now you are free to move on to something a little bit more fun. So, for those of you guys who, like, absolutely love the original Opticor, let me know down in the comments below whether this feels like a good upgrade to you, because it has been shifted so dramatically, and I like that DE is doing something different with this, rather than just giving it standard stat upgrades, but it's really giving it a whole quality of life shift. And I think that it was a very smart move from them to do it this way, rather than to, you know, just say, alright, well, we'll just buff its fire rate and we'll just call it a day, you know? Not really change it so dramatically, but now I feel like it's a lot more usable than before. And I'll be honest, while a lot of people were Opticor fans before, I liked it, but I did not love it. Now I can proudly say that I quite enjoy the Opticor Vandal. And also, come on, look at that metallic. You can't hate on it. I almost feel like it's a triple metallic that they've got going on, like a more matte metallic and then a couple other metallics in there. Oh. Anyway, that about does it for me for now. I hope you guys are enjoying this weapon as much as I am. So as always, leave all of your feelings down in the comments below, and love somebody, hurt nobody, and touch your fissure. I'll see you guys next time. Bye-bye. Maybe put some ice on it. It'll feel better.